I love the light of a bottle of intelligent wine upon a table when people are talking, that they drink it, that in each drop of gold or ladle of purple they remember that autumn toiled until the barrels were full of wine, and let the obscure man learn, in the ceremony of his business, to remember the earth and his duties, to propagate the canticle of the fruit. Now, that's taken from Ode to Wine by Pablo Neruda. So we're going to talk about the wines of Chile, are we? No. We're heading straight back to Germany, and specifically to the Terrassen-Mosel, those insanely steep slopes where grape picking is pretty much an extreme sport at the northern end of the Mosel Valley, as the river prepares to join the Rhine. Now that poem adorns in stainless steel calligraphy the facade of the beautiful modernist cube that is today's winery in question. And that's a measure of the originality and philosophical bent of the family we're visiting today. The estate is Heimann Löwenstein, and the wine is, hard to read in the ornate script here, Schieferterrassen, terraces of slate. And this is a producer I have a special soft spot for. Why so? Well, much as everything here is meticulous, from the painstaking, backbreaking organic viticulture to the glacially slow vinification, this is a place that wholeheartedly embraces art and the mysteries of nature. And the result is wines that feel unfettered, fluid, ecstatic, equal parts intellectual and visceral. Schieferterrassen is unusual in a number of ways. And its RRP is $64, but this is not an entry-level wine. This is the signature wine of the estate, the lion's share of its production. So think of it more as the Riesling equivalent of the calling card cuvée of a grower champagne. And if you get this wine, then you get Heimann Löwenstein. And trust me, you'll be glad you got it. So where are we? Well, we're in the village of Winningen, where the oldest evidence of Löwenstein family wine growing goes back to 1520. But this estate was founded in 1980 by Reinhard Löwenstein and his wife Conny Heimann, hence Heimann Löwenstein. A few decades ago, they essentially reimagined Mosel Riesling, not as the light racy style, but as a dry yet deep, richly textural wine. Today, their daughter Sarah plays a lead role in winemaking too, and together they are a warm, fun, thoroughly cultured clan. Human intuition, metaphysics, art and nature are all rolled into one here, and the idea is to express that nature through the medium of Riesling. And when I say nature, I'm talking about these emblematic terraces of slate, Schieferterrassen. Around 90% of the fruit for Schieferterrassen comes from two Erster Lager rated, that's Premier Cru, vineyards in Winningen. They're called Ham and Pulkstück. The rest comes from the Grand Cru sites. And all are typical vertiginous slopes with vines teetering on the rock walls high above the river. The grapes hang here until they're almost opulently golden. Being the Mosel, there's no worry about losing acidity when the family picks, but the berries have utterly ripe skins and almost kaleidoscopic flavours. So a brave, athletic team harvests the grapes into 12-kilo plastic crates, really small tubs to prevent damage to the berries, and then the fruit's winched down to the road below on a sort of Riesling roller coaster. Slow and natural is the way in the cellar here. The berries carefully sorted again before a period of skin contact. That's 8 hours in 17 before a seriously slow 12-hour press cycle, meaning very careful extraction of the juice. That's then run down by gravity to the cellar below to ferment very slowly with indigenous yeasts. Most of the juice went in stainless steel in 17, with about a third fermented in large casks called Doppelstück Fässer. Those have a capacity of around 3,000 litres. Now, once again, that time on yeast lees imparts mouthful and creaminess, and the wines breathe and fill out in the oak. Now, everything here is done on taste and instinct. Ask them about technical data, stats, numbers, and they'll say, well, how many decibels in a Mozart symphony, or how many kilos of blue in a Chagall painting? And they're not being facetious. It's their way of saying, you're missing the point. And speaking of points, these wines hardly fit the critic's obsession with objective 100-point scores. These are too idiosyncratic, too open to interpretation. But I'll tell you this. Winemakers and sommeliers tend to love this wine. Why? Because they can't make this wine, they can't mimic it, they can't just grab a ready substitute. This is unique. It's conviction, it's gut instinct. You just taste it and have to go with it. And this 2017 here today smells of chamomile and fennel, smoke, cocoa butter, lime and ripe pears. In the mouth it's lush and satiny, salty and energetic. So who would like this wine? Well, Stefan Reinhardt, the excellent German specialist at Wine Advocate, said of this collection, the 2017s are beautifully balanced Rieslings that impressively reflect their particular terroir in a very noble and unspectacular way. This is for advanced Riesling freaks. But I kind of disagree on that last point. I get that this isn't Riesling 101, but I'd say that these are wines for the open-minded, people who can handle ambiguity and those who revel in the mysteries and intrigue of, say, old-world Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. Now, if you want to know more about Hyman Löwenstein, the Schiefer Terrassen, or any other wines in the Cellarhand portfolio, please go to our website, cellarhand.com.au, or feel free to send us a direct message at cellarhandwine or to me at Bam Merison. But in the meantime, please stay safe, drink responsibly and discerningly, and thank you again so much for listening.